How is everybody out there? Welcome back to PurpleSpace Postcard Cascade of Thoughts. So today with us we have Guru, basically a life coach. We have Anushka with us, and today's podcast is going to be little on the spiritual side, little on the psychic side, I guess.
Yeah.
So, okay, Anushka, introduce yourself.
Sure. Okay. So I'm Anushka and I live in Canada. I really got into spirituality. I've always been spiritual, but I think it really kicked off 3.5 years ago when I did a program in India. And it was a subconscious retraining program. And you learn how to be a healer through using your subconscious mind. And I think that kickstarted my journey into spirituality. And then I decided to start a Instagram to channel all of the wisdom that I had learned. And I just started that, I think, in May. And now it's grown into something where it's a side hustle now. So I do have clients and I teach this on the side and I love it. And every day I learn more and grow more. So I think it's just a journey. You're never going to be there. It's never going to be perfect. But yeah, I really do love it.
It is amazing.
That's great. All right. So my first question would be: before that program you attended in India,
Yeah.
right? Before that program, what was your take on spirituality, and after that program, what's your take on it?
So before, I say I had been spiritual, but I mean, when I was in middle school, I would write down these cards in my room and I would say, everything happens for a reason. And these, quotes that I had seen, they resonated with me, but I didn't know why. So I would put them on my wall and I would look at them every day. And to me, at that time, that was spirituality. But as you grow and as you evolve, your definition changes as well, right? So when I got a little older, I realized that there's something deeper than what we experience in our day-to-day life. It's not as black and white as we say or as we see. And I realized that I think that there's a higher power or there's something going on behind the scenes that is affecting us humans. There has to be. We're here for a reason. This isn't a coincidence. So I thought, okay, well, let me research it more. Let me get into it. And I followed a lot of people. I listened to a lot of, videos and read a lot of books. And I came to the realization that, what? There is definitely a higher power. There's a higher power within us. It's not external. It's us. We are that higher power, just experiencing itself in different forms. And to the answer to the question you asked me, I think before I thought it was a very, you can think this way and you'll be a better person. And now I think, oh no, it's integrated into every part of who we are and everything we see. There is a miracle there. And if you can see that miracle, then you've made it, if you want to say. Yeah. Yeah.
I absolutely loved your answer because like you touched on so many different things, like finding
Yeah.
deeper meaning in life and all of that. And I'm someone like as soon as I got to know that we'll be interviewing you, I was so excited because I have my set of things. Like I'm super psyched by energy and dreams and like how
Oh, yeah.
manifestation works and how visualization works. But I'm kind of
Yeah.
confused with it because I'm like, what is all this? Like I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it sometimes.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about the power of manifestation.
Yeah. So as you said, actually, spirituality is an umbrella term. So under it, there's so many things, like you said, energy work and subconscious mind and your ego and your higher self. So you can write books and books on this topic. So when I say spirituality, it encompasses all of this. Law of attraction, for example, law of karma, all of this stuff. But coming back to law of attraction, which is something that I'm so passionate about because I think it can change people's lives, and it has.
Yeah.
But I think now in this mainstream culture, people think manifesting is like, oh, your thoughts create your reality. But it's really not as simple as that. And actually, I don't like to think that because a lot of us have negative thoughts. We're humans, right? So if you think that every negative thought will manifest, well, you're just creating fear in yourself. That's not good either. So I think it's not the thoughts that create your reality, but it's your subconscious beliefs that reflect into the universe, and the universe is a neutral entity. It doesn't realize or recognize what's bad or good because it doesn't work on human terms. Humans have created these words to decipher this and that, but the universe it's a boomerang, so it will reflect back what you send out. What energy you're sending out, it'll reflect it back. And subconscious beliefs play a big role in that because, let me explain what a subconscious belief is. It's when you're a child and you pick up on things, right? Your subconscious at that level is so malleable, it's so absorbent. If you see your parents having a fight about something, whatever they're fighting about, you'll think, oh, for example, if they're fighting about money.
Yeah.
So you'll have a subconscious belief that money causes stress and fights. And then when you're older, no matter how rich you want to become, there will be this block. You won't be able to unless you heal that, saying, no, money does not cause stress. Money brings opportunities, for example, right? Or if you see people having to struggle for success, which a lot of people think is true, that you have to struggle to be successful. You hear podcasts and TED Talks and they say, oh, well, I was broke and I did this and this and this, and only then I achieved success.
Yeah.
But why can't success be easy, right? So when you work on these beliefs and realize that this is what I'm telling the universe about the universe will say, oh, that's what she believes. I'll send it back to her in that form. So if you believe that, you'll experience it. And that's how manifestation works. So manifesting isn't just about, oh, okay, let me write this thing 10 times and it's going to come to life. No, it's about working on yourself and being that embodiment of the version you want to be, and training your subconscious mind to attract the life that you want. Yeah.
Right, because there are many people who have this misconception that if I keep writing that I want this much package salary, that this thing that will happen. But no, you have to work for it, dude. You have to work hard for it. If you have written, if you have, it's not even about writing. If you have thought about it and you are doing something about it, that will happen eventually.
Yeah.
But you have to execute, because
you have to, action.
If universe is not seeing you execute that thing will never happen. It's just a mere thought then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing that a lot of people leave out. There's something called aligned action. Okay, so it doesn't mean just working nonstop after something you think you want. It's about taking that intuitive nudge to do something. And you have to realize that you don't have to come up with the answers all the time. You don't have to know the answers. And it's not your responsibility to know the how. You choose what you want, be sure that's what you want, and then trust that intuitive nudge that comes to tell you to do this, or to message this person, or to start this podcast, or whatever it is, right? So when you listen to that and you start to trust your intuition more, that's actually the path that will lead you to what you want. I don't like saying, it comes from hard work, because it doesn't have to be hard. And I hope that people don't think that it has to be hard, because why suffer unnecessarily, right? So believe that it can be easy, and the universe will show you that as well. Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned intuition. Let's talk about intuition.
Sure. Okay. So intuition is, I like to say, it's the inner compass that we all have. We're all born with an intuition, but when we grew up, it's almost like society teaches you that you shouldn't listen to that gut feeling, because you should follow what's logical or what's rational. But, following logic and ration won't get you what you want. It won't. It might lead you to the path that your parents want you to be in, or what society wants you to be. But we all have one inner voice, and a lot of people confuse it with fear and anxiety. So I get this question a lot. They say, Anushka, but how do I know if it's my intuition versus my fear that's telling me to do something? And I always say, your intuition is not the first gut feeling. It's the second one. Your first feeling is your programmed response to something that your parents or your friends or whatever have taught you. But that second voice, the quiet voice that comes up afterwards and says, but wait, maybe do this. That's your intuition. It's like a wise older sibling that will guide you accordingly. It's never the loud one, and it will never make you feel scared or bad. It will make you feel actually at peace. So whenever you're trying to decipher if it's your fear or your intuition, think, how does it make me feel? Does it make me feel good? At peace, calm, comfortable? It's my intuition. Scared, anxious, worried, stressed out, that's your fear. Yeah. So.
I really like that you spoke about things like fear, because when I talk to people and I help them with communication and confidence and all of that, so what happens is they tell me, I have this fear of failure, and I try to convince them that what is fear of failure? Fear is something that is we think it is negative, but the fact that it has kept us alive. Fear, to some extent, it is necessary, some level of fear, because I really like what Elizabeth Gilbert says about this. She says that people who don't fear are 3-year-old toddlers, or it is the psychopaths. So you don't want to be any one of them, right? So it is necessary for you to have some level of fear, and like how you have distincted that fear with intuition. And there's something that I have always felt, something about subconscious. So if I want to awaken that part of me, so how can I start working on it?
So your intuition will only come out in solitude and quiet surroundings. when you're around your family or your friends all day, you won't be able to tell what your intuition is because their energy is rubbing off on you. So if you want a deeper connection with yourself, but your intuition especially, you have to be alone. You have to. Just take, even if you're a busy parent with 3 kids, take just half an hour to be alone every day and put your phone away, because your phone, that's a whole other issue, right? Your phone is a separate universe. And when we go in, we're immersed in that. So no phone, no laptop, just sit with your thoughts. When was the last time we sat with our thoughts and did nothing? There was nothing to do or nowhere to go. You just sat. We're just not used to that anymore, right? Which is why there's such a big disconnect between people and their true selves, because they think you have to be on all the time. And it's not natural for humans to be on all the time. At this age, especially in coronavirus, there's no end to working from home. You can be on your laptop all day long, right? And no one's going to tell you to stop. But you have to create that distinction. Okay, after this time, I'm going to spend just 10 minutes, start with 10 minutes a day. And it's not meditating. People might say meditating, and that does help. But for me, meditating didn't help as much as being present. You can be present while doing something. You can be present while doing the dishes, right? So create that presence. Don't listen to music while you're doing homework. Don't listen to podcasts while you're doing homework. Be there and just do one thing at a time. And that's actually enough to be a form of meditation. So yeah, you'll deepen your connection with yourself by doing that.
Yeah. You have said meditation has not helped you that much.
Yeah. I think.
Still,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What people say that if you're spiritual, definitely you are meditating, and I don't feel that is the case.
That's the thing. You're right. Yeah.
Again, you said that spirituality is an umbrella, and meditation is another part of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what. There are a lot of misconceptions about spirituality itself.
I think that you have to see what's right for you, because what spirituality means to me isn't what it means to you or Aisha, right? It's all going to be different based on what your soul path is. And for some people, meditation is that thing that makes them connected to themselves. But I think actually the fact that meditation has been so pushed in our faces as a related to spirituality, and you can't be spiritual without meditating, you can't know yourself without meditating. I don't think that's true at all. And I don't think many people say that, but it really hasn't helped me as much as just observing myself. And yes, meditating is a form of observing. I say meditating, when I say I meditate, I say I went for a walk and I did nothing. I just went for a walk. That's a form of meditation too. Yeah. So whatever, labels are there to make people feel comfortable and associate themselves with something. But at the end of the day, if you're spending time alone with yourself, with presence, you've meditated. You've meditated. Yeah.
I really like that you said that, this whole meditation world, the word is thrown around so easily. And I do understand it's really hard for some people to sit in one place and think about one particular thought. For me, I believe it's more about going into the state of Zen, whether you're writing, whether you're drawing, whether you're driving. Sometimes it just works. Like for me, if I'm writing something, then I just go to the state where I feel like this is not me, like the words are coming from somewhere else. I feel like I'm revolutionary, like this. If someone is revealing this to me, the content just flows out of me. So I feel like when you reach that state, that is meditation, and it works differently for different people. So there's this other thing that I also like. You said that about the how our brain does not like to be idle. Like we constantly wants to be feeding information. Like you try to sit for some time and you're constantly, should I just pick up my phone? Should I just pick up my phone? Because our brain is also scared to make any new choices. We like to do things in a pattern. And I really feel like that is something that makes us feel like we cannot unlock our inner self, or that inner engineer that we have within ourselves. So how do you think we can unlock that subconscious mind? Like you said, start with 10 minutes a day. So what else other things that people can do where they can feel like, okay, fine, this is my subconscious and I want to rewire it. If it's someone, because I do work with people who tell me that, I have had I did not have a good childhood, or I had limiting beliefs related to this. So how can I be like, okay, fine, you can start rewiring your subconscious. How does that work?
So actually it's easier than it seems. Okay. So the first step to rewiring is conscious awareness. And when I say that, I mean you have to observe what you say in conversations with other people as if you're a bird watching what you're saying from a third eye. from your third eye, imagine yourself talking to someone. Like I'm talking to you right now. Everything I'm saying, I'm also observing from as if I'm a third party. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. So you have to start getting to the habit of doing that, because when you do that, you'll see what you're saying as without any bias. And when you can detach yourself, your higher self, from your ego, that's another topic I wanted to talk about. And it's related to your subconscious, because your ego is, most people, I'd say 90% of people act from their ego every single moment of every day. But there is a separate entity. There's your higher self. And it's watching and observing what you're saying. And that's the person you want to be. You want to embody this person, not this person, right? So bring awareness to things you say. And a lot of times for my clients, their limiting beliefs will come out when they're talking to me, and they won't even realize it. Like I had a client last week, and I was talking about limiting beliefs with her, and she was like, Anushka, how do I identify it? And I said, or just 5 minutes previous to that, she said, oh yeah, when I was a kid, my mom always praised me when I saved my money. And I don't know why, but I just feel like something about that's wrong. And, to anyone, that just seems like a regular conversation. But when you can identify what she just said from a different perspective, she said her mom praises her when she saves money. So the belief that implanted was that saving money is the good thing to do. And I'm not saying that's a good or bad belief. I mean, money mindset is a whole other thing. But if you can take that second step to analyze what you say, don't just keep it surface level. Bring depth to what you're saying and what you're thinking. And I think when you realize that, a lot of people like making lists as well. So if something that I did a couple months ago, I was like, what beliefs have I picked up from my parents that affect me today? So everything I've seen in my childhood from my parents, good and bad, I just wrote down. I said, this is what I've experienced. This is what I've seen. And I realized how much of it was playing out in my own life, right? And then what I did after that was I created affirmations that went opposite to what I wrote down. So whatever limiting belief, it was the opposite one. And what I did, you can't see right now, but I wrote them on sticky notes and I pasted them on my door, the opposite affirmations. So every time I open my door, I read it out. I say, okay, this is the affirmation that I want to incorporate. So it's a practice. It won't come overnight. It won't. It's just this habit of observing and acting upon what you see. But yeah, and having a third person do that for you is the best. You can do that for your clients as well. You can be that person who says, oh, but you said something like this. Does this mean, did you have an experience that made you feel this way? Oh, another really good thing to ask yourself is, have I experienced this myself, or is this something I've picked up? It's a way to form this self-awareness within yourself, because we just live off of what we hear people say. If someone says this is what they had to do, you think, oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But is it true, or is it just their life, right? So create that distinction. Yeah.
So yeah, you talked about analyzing anything.
Yeah.
Anything or any thought, for instance. What I've been doing is unconsciously, I have been self-analyzing my every decision I've made. Every decision I've made, but it's very. I'm not at all conscious when I'm analyzing myself. And when I see people not doing for themselves, I'm like, why are you not doing for yourself? I've asked people that, do you self analyze yourself every day after at the end of the day? So they're like, no, because if I sit and analyze what decisions I've made, what have I spoken, I'll become my image I'll become bad. People, not in people's eye, but in my own eye, I'll become bad. I'm like, isn't that a good thing? And they're like, no. And I'm like, that's your ego speaking. Then they say, no, it's not. And then they just shut me up. And I'm like, okay, just carry on with your thoughts.
Yeah.
So again, analyzing it, either it is done by a third party, or it is self-analyzation. I think it's really important, especially in this world, the world we are living in, the era, the millennium age. And ego is something, again, which you talked about, which we have to actually get rid of. And any suggestions, any first steps, any first moves? How can we get rid of ego?
So, I don't think you should get rid of your ego, and I don't think anyone can ever get rid of their ego. when you come into human form, your ego actually came not to, it's not an evil thing, it's not a bad thing. Actually, back in the day when we were in our early stages of humanity, your ego was necessary to alert you if you were in danger, that sort of thing. So it's there to protect you, really it is. And it's just that at the point that we've evolved now, we don't need it, and we shouldn't follow that, because it's meant to keep us safe. And just by playing safe in this world won't get you what you want, right? So the way you can recognize your ego is your ego will always try to make you stay in the same spot you're in right now. So if you have another opportunity and that voice comes like, I don't think I'll take it. I think I'm happy here. That's your ego, because it wants you to stay safe and where you are. But your higher self, which is the person you want to be, the opposite of the ego, will say, oh no, it's scary. I'm scared. I feel the fear, and I'm going to do it anyways. That's the higher self. Okay. So that's a good way to distinguish between the two.
So why people have created this assumption about ego that it's a negative thing?
Because it makes you feel negative things. It makes you feel negative things, but it's not a negative thing. It's your perception of it that's causing you to think it's bad, but it's not. So if a lot of spiritual people, they live in alignment with their ego. I recognize my ego every moment of every day, because when you're about to do something, you have two voices all the time, right? One that pushes you to do something and one that doesn't. When you'll get used to recognizing which one's the ego and which one's the higher self. And then I always almost act like my ego is another person. Like I give her a name. I say, okay, I hear you. I see you. Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I need to do this. That's it. So you acknowledge it, and the voice dies down immediately. Everything in your life that comes up, all it needs really at its core is acknowledgement. Instead of pushing it away, why don't you see it face to face and just say, thank you. Thank you. You're doing your job, and I appreciate you, but I'm not going to choose this right now. And that's it. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't. I know a lot of people give their egos a name, like I said, so you can almost see it as a friend of yours who just cares about your well-being, wants you to stay safe and happy. And then your higher self is that mentor that pushes you to do something different or challenging, because it knows it'll get you the results you want. But you won't get rid of your ego ever. I don't think anyone. It's not possible. Yeah.
I really like your answer, the way you've described that we have two people within ourselves. And I always have this discussion with my friends as well. I feel like there are two people inside my head and they're constantly fighting. And that's how there is this battle always within us. And that's one thing that I feel about ego is because we put so much spotlight on ourselves. Like, see, so many people are looking at me, so I have to be a certain way. I should fear failure, because if I fail in front of all of these people, they're gonna mock me. That's because we have put the spotlight on ourselves. Because actually, if you see, there's no spotlight. Everybody's focused on themselves. So what is the point of having this ego battle? So coming to that, I really want to discuss with you this whole. I have been, like, since I was really young, I always had this energy feelings, and then I would have dreams associated very similarly with that. And I was like, did that rub off on me in some way? It was in my subconscious, and now I'm seeing it as a dream. So this is something that happened last week. I went to this beach. It was really dark, and I just kind of felt a little off. I know this is getting really voodoo, but I think it'll be interesting.
No, I'm all about voodoo. Go for it.
Okay. So I was like, what am I feeling right now? Like, why am I feeling so off? It was dark. Like, me and my friend, we were just having coffee, and then it was like 8, 9, and then we went back home. So I couldn't sleep the whole night. Like, I just could not sleep. It was 2, and I had like work the next day. I had like very tight schedule, and I was like, I need to go to bed, but I just couldn't do that. And after a lot of discomfort, I slept. I had like a terrible dream. Okay. And I woke up, and I know this is getting very creepy, but I could hear something on my left side of my face. And it felt like scratching. Okay. And I instantly got up, and I went to the other room, and I just want people around me. And this has always happened. I experienced something similar. It was something like a dream loop. Like, I wanted to get up from that dream. It was again a dream. Again, I tried to get up. Again, it was in a dream. So I know people experience these things, but I feel really freaked out sometimes. Like, I have had me and my friend have the same kind of dream at the same time. Or me and my sister, we have the same dream, and we wake up and discuss, and she's like, I had exactly the same dream. So can you just solve this for me? It's really weird.
No, you know what you're saying is completely normal for people that are naturally psychic or claircognizant or intuitive. And you know, in the society we live in now, these words trigger a lot of people, and they think, oh, that's weird, that's abnormal, that's strange. But actually, that's normal.
Yeah.
This is normal. What you're experiencing is normal. I have similar experiences all the time. I dream things and it'll happen in real life, you know, a month later. It's creepy. I hear noises all the time, and you get used to it because, well, you will soon get used to it because
I don't want to. It's really creepy now.
you know, it's creepy because you're afraid of what it is. But
Yeah.
if you realize that it's just, okay, this is gonna go a little, you know, like you said, voodoo, but but basically, yeah, there's different realms all around us at all times, different realms of energy. So if you want to call them ghosts or spirits or whatever it is, it's another form of energy, and we can't see that. But it's a whole, like, if you see around you right now, the space you see, this is not all that exists. There are multiple different realities happening at the same time that we're not conscious of. And if you are more inclined to things like this than other people, I think it's a natural thing. Some people are born that way and some people aren't. Yeah. And you obviously are. So you're more in tune with this, and you'll experience more, you know, weird things like that happening in reality. It's nothing to be scared of, because actually it's all good. They're all good. And okay, this is just as a baseline rule. If something makes you feel scared, like if you hear something, this isn't even related about our topic right now, but if someone tells you something and it instills fear within you, it's not true. The highest truth in this universe is only of love. It can only make you feel good. So anything that's not that is not the truth. So there's nothing to be scared of. I know it's like, it's creepy and it's freaky when it happens, but consider yourself lucky that you actually have that intrinsic ability to, you know, you can experience more of the reality we're in and other realities that exist. It's a beautiful thing, really. And use it to your advantage. Use it to your advantage, because that means that your intuition is stronger than most people too. That the gut feelings you have are more strong and obvious than other people. Other people have to work on their intuition, but yours comes naturally to you, right? So trust yourself more. Yeah.
So I don't really hear voices and stuff.
Yeah.
Not forbid, I don't. But I feel presence of certain people around me. Like someone is sitting here. No one is though. But like not not of someone from a family, but
Yeah.
like I feel that there are people around here who are
Yeah.
listening to me and might slap me another second. But all right. So I feel this presence again. It's frightening.
Yeah.
It's really frightening. And what I do is I wake up very early in the morning, 5:30, 4:30 around, and nobody's awake at that time. And that is the time when I meditate. Actually, that's my spiritual hour for me. That
Okay. Good.
1 hour, and that is the most scariest time of my day.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there is someone who's watching me while meditating, and there is a very negative thing about meditating. You have to close your eyes because you have to focus. That's
Yeah.
it. Either on your breath, either on this point right here.
Yeah.
And it's really scary.
Mm-hmm.
But then I try to wherever I have listened or heard about these stuff, where I just try to calm myself down. I say myself that this is all good. These are all good spirits. Nothing will happen. But then a wind, like if a fan is going on, a wind blows around, something falls, and I'm like, okay, I'm up.
Oh no, I know it's
It's really frightening. It's frightening because we are not aligned to this kind of reality.
Yeah. And actually, I read that the more you experience that actually means that the more advanced you already are without even knowing it. You know, a lot of people experience this thing and they're like, but I'm not even spiritual. I'm not even into all of this, but you are. You really are. And your conscious mind doesn't realize it, but your higher self has already established that. Yeah. So, yeah. It's
Maybe as humans, we collectively we thrive for this, this reality, this one thing. That's why people might experience it.
And yeah, again, I think it's always, even if you've had the experience 100 times, it's still scary. It's still, like the other day I was sitting on my bed and the windows were closed and everything. It's freezing in Canada. I live in Canada, right? So it's cold. The windows are closed, and all of a sudden these papers just start ruffling on my desk. And, you know, it's happened before, but every time that just like, you just feel, oh my God, oh my gosh, what's happening? And that's okay. I started to think of it as like, wow, like how lucky am I to experience such unique things that most people don't, rather than like, oh my God, I'm scared of it. It's not going to do anything. It's just like, wow, I'm open to that. It's cool. It's all your mind. You can think of it as cool, or you can think of it as horrible. But yeah.
And actually, there is no denying, because there have been like years and years of scriptures that
Oh,
that validate these things. Like you just cannot deny these things. These things are
no,
real and people do experience them.
they do.
I wanted to know that I have known people who say that they're manifesting and they're visualizing, and it just does not work for them. Like they have tried a few things, they've tried affirmations, and it just does not
Affirmation.
work.
Yes,
But also, I tell them that the fact that you're telling me that it's not working, that is the reason it's not working, because you don't believe in it enough.
exactly.
What would you
Yeah.
say to such a person?
So yeah, I that's a very common question, and the answer every time is it's because you haven't worked on your subconscious beliefs. I'll tell you this: a lot of people come to me with money
Yeah.
issues, and they say, I want to manifest more money, but I'm doing everything. I'm doing affirmations and I'm writing it down. I'm visualizing, but it's not working. And I say, okay, let's talk about your childhood. Let's talk about what money beliefs you have. Do you believe that rich people are evil? Do you believe that rich people are greedy? Do you believe that do you believe that money doesn't grow on trees? All of these beliefs that we've been implanted with throughout our lives, they play out. And your subconscious will block you from attracting that money because you think that somewhere deep down, even if, you know, we all say, oh, how nice would it be to be a millionaire? But do you really believe that? Do you feel like it would be more stressful if you were a millionaire? Do you think you'd have to work more? So all of these things, that tension comes up, and that subconscious blocks it and says, no, I'm good where I am. I don't want that $1,000,000 because it's going to make me greedy. People are not going to like me. People are going to think I'm taking advantage of the poor, all of these things. So until you work on your beliefs, it won't happen. It won't happen, which is why I'm such a, I teach based on subconscious, because without the subconscious beliefs, you can't do anything. It's the core, and everything comes after that. The affirmations only work if the subconscious is open to it. The visualizing only works if you've worked on your beliefs. So, but a really good example, I don't know, do you guys remember the US or the tennis open that happened in 2019, I believe? This 18-year-old won from Canada, and her name, I think it's Bianca Andreescu, something like that. And she is only 18, and she won the US Open, which is incredible. And in the interviews afterwards, people said, okay, but how did you do this? And she said, you know what, when I was 13 years old, I wrote myself a check from US Open for $1 million, and I put it on my wall, and I looked at it every day, and it happened 5 years later. And she said she credits her mom she credits her mom for teaching her about manifestation. And I'll get into the subconscious reason. A lot of people will do that, and they'll say, okay, but I put a check for $1 million, it didn't happen, right? But when you look at something enough times, your subconscious feels comfortable with it, okay? So if you see the same thing, it becomes like, okay, this is truth. This is the truth. This isn't just on my wall for no reason. And another thing about the subconscious is it can't tell what's real and what's not, and what's the past and future and what's present. It has no concept of that. So if you continuously show yourself, embody the feeling of how it would be to be a millionaire. If you want to be a millionaire, how would a millionaire think? How would they talk? What books would they read? What kind of, so you have to embody that person now. So you almost, this is getting a little metaphysical, but you jump that quantum reality into where you are to that millionaire lifestyle, if that's what you want, by being that now. When you're driving, if you want to be driving a Lamborghini one day, but you're driving a Honda Civic, feel that feeling as if you're driving a Lamborghini. It doesn't matter that you're driving a Honda Civic, but just pretend. And like Beyonce, for example, she had a whole alter ego. She named it something else because she was like I think she was like a Christian, she just sang in the church. She was a very shy person, but she had this second identity, and she said she would take that on, and that became Beyonce because that was the version she wanted to be. It took a few years, but eventually she went from being this shy, choir girl to Beyonce, powerful boss woman, just by acting that way now. So that's sort of the best way to manifest. Once you've worked on your subconscious beliefs, don't forget that if you're listening to this, focus on your beliefs first and then do the embodiment and the visualizations and all that. Yeah.
In yogic terms, when we talk about alignment,
Yeah.
we talk about alignment of
Mhm.
chakras, right? Alignment of chakras.
Yeah.
So, what are your take on chakras and all?
So I think we work on energy. We are energy. Everything is energy. So it would be a disservice to not mention energy in a topic like this. Energy is everything, and chakras are a form of energy. They're energy centers, right? So if they're blocked, well, you're not going to feel the way you want to feel. If they're open and conducive to energy, then you'll be good. But the issue is that over the years, even if you're 10 years old, you've picked up on 10 years worth of experiences and beliefs that have stored themselves into your energy centers. A lot of people, I think the most important chakra, if you want to work on one to start with, is your root. Because once your root chakra is there, if it's blocked, you're not going to feel safe, secure, comfortable doing anything. Personally, that's one I've had to work on a lot. And once you have that good, the rest will come easier. But I think the biggest issue that people face is not feeling safe. And when I say safe, I don't mean physically safe. I mean they just we don't feel safe doing what we want to do. We don't quit the job that we hate because we are scared that we won't be provided for if we do something we love. Yeah. It's a safety thing. We want to feel safe and comfortable all the time. Relationships, people have relationship issues because they just want to feel safe. And only when we feel safe, we are open to things. And so, yeah, chakras are a great way to start if you want to research them more. Keep them clear, keep them open. Do that through, okay, let me mention, it's not just through mindset and everything, it's also what you eat. You have to be eating, or you should be eating, a whole foods, clean diet, okay? Like my spiritual awakening, the biggest thing that changed for me was going vegan. I stopped eating animals. I stopped consuming animal products because when you eat an animal, you take on the energy of suffering, pain, and death. You are what you eat, right? So that was, I think I was 18 when I first ate. I was like, wow, I can say I'm spiritual, but something in me doesn't feel right. My body isn't conducive to my mind. And when your mind and body are at different states, you're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel stressed out. Something's off, right? So creating your body to be a haven for your mind and your spiritual development is key. And so move your body. I'm not saying go to the gym every day. I don't even do that. But move your body. Dance around. Keep the energy flowing. Eat good. Eat clean. Eat happy and healthy foods. And yeah, your chakras will 90% be cleared from just doing that. Yeah.
I really loved your answer, and I also like the things that you said. Most of these things, this whole journey of mine actually started
Yeah.
when I read the book The Secret, and I was like blown away by it. And I was like, oh my god, this is
Yeah.
happening. And there are like so many instances in that book where they also talk about the fact that the universe does not know. When you say, like, if you want a kind of lifestyle, if you're going to say constantly that I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I want,
Mm-hmm.
instead of saying I want to, we focus on what I don't want. And the
Exactly.
universe will not know how to distinguish between the two, and will give you what you ask for. If
Yep.
it was something you wanted or you did not
Yeah.
want. So I feel like
Exactly.
that is something where most of us do wrong. Even I feel like sometimes even people have wrong affirmations. You know, their affirmations are
For
not
sure.
something that they need,
Yeah. You're
right?
very right. Actually, the universe doesn't work in negatives.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't know. You can't say, I don't want this, or, sometimes I'll see people, they'll write affirmations. I don't care what people think about me. No, no, no. Don't put the don't in there. Just say, I'm happy to be myself. Always keep the affirmation positive. We don't want any negative words, sorry. The universe gets confused. It doesn't know what not or it doesn't work like that. So just keep it clean, keep it focused on what you want and not what you don't want. But it's a really good point to mention. Yeah.
Yeah. So I also wanted to ask you about like, do you have like real life instances, because you already work with people? Like, can you just tell us some interesting examples of how things, what you suggest or your strategies or your methods have brought these revolutionary changes in people? Like, that is really interesting. I saw your story the other day where you said you visualize that two people, they look so compatible and they actually end
Yeah.
up getting married. Like, tell us more
Yeah.
stories about
The
it.
psychic reading. Yeah, yeah. Tell us about the
Oh
psychic reading.
my gosh, I didn't even know you followed me. I had no idea. Okay, yeah, so again, this is when we talk about spirituality, psychic and claircognizant, those words will come up. And that's a gift that I have been blessed with. And an example of that, which is what you're talking about, is one time I don't know if I need to repeat the whole story because you guys already know, but I'm able to predict if people are going to end up together, which sounds crazy. But for example, just briefly, there's this influencer and a fan posted a photo with him, and I saw that photo, and I just knew that they were going to get married. I don't know what it was, how it was, but she's a fan. She just bumped into him, and I knew that they were going to get married. And at the time, he was in a very long-term public relationship with someone, so they were still together. I had no idea that they had broken up or anything like that. And then I messaged him that, and then he actually had posted already a photo with her just the night before, which I hadn't seen. And they're married. So that's a very brief story, but it's crazy how, once you get, when you tap into that knowing.
By that, like,
What's that?
when do the people around you get a little freaked out when you say things like
All
that?
the time. I tell my friends will come to me, they'll say, Anushka, look, this is a photo of me and this person. What do you think? And I'll say, no, not this one. And they'll say, how do you know? I say, I just know. And then it comes true, and then it doesn't work. And I'm like, and they're like, okay, well, thank you for telling me. So I've become that person in my friend's life, and I'm so happy to do it. I think it's
They don't like you for it. Like, I mean, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
this was
yeah.
something in a very desi culture. If you do that, people start being like, this person is an omen. Like, this person says negative things, and those turn up to be true. So, do you
Yes.
So
notice that?
well, no, because I only do it for my closest friends and family.
Yeah.
It's not like I wouldn't do it for just a random person if they're like, oh, Anushka, what do you think? Well, I'm not gonna, because you don't want to give someone a bad belief, right? And yeah, so I'm not gonna do it. But if my closest friends come, like my best friends, ask me all the time, and I'll say, okay, sure, because they know me and they know that that's my intention is not bad in any way.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't worry about that because I just don't. I don't do it for people who would think that. Yeah, it's very cool though. It's very, very cool.
So it's the psychic reading is just about romantic relationships
No. So
or anything.
I don't do psychic readings. I just don't. I think that's something that
Just random psychic readings.
random.
Just,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. No. It's for everything. It's crazy how much it is for pregnancies. I can always tell. I'm just like, oh, I know this person's going to be pregnant in like 3 months from now, and then I can predict their gender. It's crazy. It's crazy. One time I was talking to a very, very close friend of mine, and he was like, okay, so he was just talking to me about his day, and I was like, I know your aunt's pregnant. And he was like, you weren't, how did you know that? I wasn't supposed to tell anyone yet. Did I tell you? I was like, no, I just know she is, and I know it's a boy. And he was like, and it turned out to be a boy, and she was pregnant. And I have no explanation. I really have no logical explanation for that, but it's fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah.
It is amazing. Like all the things that we discussed today, I really like so many things out of this. Especially the things that people don't talk about these things enough, I feel, especially in today's world where people like to brush these things off. But I feel like it's really important to recenter with that energy, because that is what, once you have, like, I had some of my own money limiting beliefs where I would be like,
Yeah.
I don't think I can charge this money, like,
Yeah.
it's wrong if I do this. Then I
Oh my God.
realize that instantly when I do if I take one step towards going against that belief, and I see that that belief does not exist at all. It is
That's what I'm saying. It's
that.
super easy. It's all it needs is that awareness and acknowledgement. That's it. And you got it. I had the same beliefs. Well, oh, is this wrong for me to ask for this much money for what I do? I had to remind myself, no, everything that we do, it's a sacred energetic exchange. I deserve it. They also deserve it.
Exactly.
I get it. I get what you're saying completely. Yeah. And I think that manifesting and spirituality, it just everyone has a different perception of it. Mixed in with religion, that's a whole nother topic, right? But at the end of the day, if what you believe in is making you a better human being and you're doing good for others and it's causing you to be happier in your day-to-day life, then believe in whatever you want to believe. right? You don't have to call it spirituality. You don't have to call it manifesting. There doesn't need to be a label for it. I think just do what makes you happy, and that's spirituality, in my opinion. Yeah.
So it was amazing having you, Anushka, with us.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy you guys asked for me to come. I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you.
It was amazing
We
that
are
you
honored as well.
discussed all this amazing topics. I don't think we could
Yeah.
have ever asked these things to anybody else. Like literally.
Yeah, and it's such a good topic to talk about, and I really feel that this after coronavirus, it's forced a lot of people to go within themselves, and people are awakening a lot more than they were before, because we were in this constant state of doing, and you have to go here now, and you have to take the bus to go to work, and then you have to take the bus to come home and go to school and all of these things, and just being forced to be inside with our own thoughts for once has caused a lot of people's awakenings, which is amazing to see. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'm really happy, and I think the new age it's going to be that. It's going to be a lot more conducive to spirituality, and
That is what our world needed also. Like it wanted
for
to
sure.
a halt and be like I'm reading all these articles about nature getting better, reading all these articles about
Yeah.
like evolving and all of that. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is what the world needed. It needed less human beings, or it required humans to hold themselves back for a bit.
For sure. Coronavirus it's a divinely planned event, right? It had to happen. It had to. It's not a coincidence either. And I think, yeah, of course, there are negatives and positives there.
I don't know why.
Oh, thank you. That's so
different. That's what I like about it. Like you speak from a different perspective. Like that is something that it's very rare.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think, this is a topic that I haven't chased it, or I didn't do anything to become awakened, if you want to say, but it happens to you. An awakening happens to you. And I think when it happens to you, you have that responsibility also given to you to share it. And I think that a lot of the things that I try to teach are they just make people feel better. And what more could you ask for? Seriously, what more could you ask for? Like when you die one day, you're not going to die thinking, oh, but I wish I had $1,000 more in my bank account. Oh, I wish I had one more trip to the Maldives. No, you're not going to think that. You're going to think, how do I make people feel, right? And if you have a good answer to that when you're on your deathbed, then you've made it. So that's kind of what I aim to do. Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys have any more questions or anything like that?
Like we had a great time with you.
Okay, awesome. Me too. Me too. Thank you again for having me. I really, really appreciate that.
Great having you over.
Yeah.
And over to you.
So just any end message to the people who want to start their spiritual journey?
I would say that just know that you're so much more powerful than you've been led to believe. So much more powerful. You don't even know how powerful you are. And you're so powerful that you convince yourself that you're not powerful. Just think about that for a second. Yeah. And you can have anything you want in life. It doesn't matter what your history is, what your background is, what your parents do. It doesn't matter. You're here as an individual, and you deserve, it's your birthright. It's your birthright to have anything you want. So never settle for less. Follow what makes you happy and do good to others. It'll come back to you tenfold. Yeah, that's what I like to say.
Amazing. It is that we got to meet you today. All right then. Bye-bye. Bye
everyone. Bye everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye.